Hey friends, welcome back to Christmas Movie Club. This selection was absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait to dig in. And I'm talking about Tamara Lowry's, I forgot her new last name, but the movie The Santa Stakeout. And I really enjoyed this movie, so I cannot wait to dig in and answer the questions on this. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to do the spinner so that it's random what questions we get. Okay. What was your least favorite part of the movie and why? My least favorite part of the movie was when Tanya and Ryan were standing right outside the neighbor's house and having a full conversation about him. I just could not believe that they were standing that close and he could have heard anything that they were saying. So the suspense level in me was rising and rising and rising. And so I would say that was probably my least favorite part of the movie. My chair is rolling. All right. Second question. Did the movie strike you as original? Yes. This movie was so original. I really, really enjoyed it. I've never seen a Christmas movie quite like this one before. Just the pairings and the fact that it was suspenseful. It didn't even have to be a romance. I could have been fine with this just being, a movie about the main subject. I didn't need the couple to get together. Yes, it definitely struck me as very original, and I enjoyed it very, very much. Third question. What are your thoughts on the movie's structure? Did it serve the story well? This was just a very sequentially ordered movie. Seems like I think we always stayed with our main characters. I can't remember. It doesn't seem like we ever jumped around to see other things that were happening. It was just what they themselves could see. And so I think that served the movie very well because we should only know what they knew because it was their case. And so that was important, I think. Next question. What was your favorite scene and why? Okay, favorite scene. What was my favorite scene? There are so many good ones. I actually think oh goodness. I'm blanking. I'm completely blanking on specific scenes. I think the one that keeps coming back to me is not even it's not even really a full scene, but this was what told me that I was in for a treat, I guess. The captain just was hilarious. So I guess we will say the full scene. So it would have been the scene, I guess, where the captain walks into Talbot with all of the fishing poles, and the way he reacts and just the whole thing, it was just this wonderful comedic relief. And then when, as part of that, while they're in the police station, the interaction between Ryan and Tanya, I thought specifically, I'm like, I hope this is not the couple. I hope they are not who are supposed to get together because they're so good in this dynamic. I don't need them to get together. That did change over time, my opinion of that, but Yes. So actually, that opening setting up the dynamics between everybody, and I just thought that the interactions between the captain and Talbot, and then the two detectives, was so spot on, and made the movie so incredibly enjoyable. Next question. Did the plot proceed in a way that felt natural, or did you feel manipulated by the storyline? Actually, for the most part, it felt very natural. On the mystery side, for certain. They were following the leads. They followed the guy. They lost the guy. I mean, all of that felt natural. The part where I felt kind of manipulated a little bit was in the when they moved into the house for the stakeout, and she's all saying, "You're gonna be downstairs. I'm gonna be upstairs," and the and oh goodness, the fact that she was still decorating downstairs, and she had said she was going to take the room upstairs, and they were going to split up. So that felt a little bit manipulative. And then the other thing that really struck me out was that there was only that when they were at the potluck dinner next door, and she asked to see she asked to go to the restroom, it was upstairs. And in a two-story house, there's usually a bathroom downstairs. So I know that the room she had to see the stuff in was upstairs, but it seems weird that the host sent her to a restroom that was upstairs. So that kind of felt manipulative a little bit as well. So but for the most part, the plot felt very, very focused and on topic. That was the only thing that was just weird. Alright. Next question. Did you find any inconsistencies in the story or plot holes while watching the movie? Plot holes. I don't... Oh. There was one thing I found very, very strange. And that was the neighbor that was hitting on Ryan. She thought that he was a newlywed with Tanya, so why in the world was she hitting on him so brazenly? That felt very much like a plot hole. And then there was a woman who said something, and I never figured this out. She said something about her husband over there, and I thought she was talking about the next door neighbor, the guy that was under surveillance. But then I don't know that they were, because they were talking about, his late wife, and I don't know, because there wasn't a distinction that he had a new wife. I never really figured out who she was attached to. So, not sure that was an inconsistency, but it definitely was kind of weird. Okay. Now we're going to do some questions about characters. Guess the characters' Enneagram numbers. Okay, so that's... I wonder... I'm only going to do it for... Well, I'll do it for Tanya... I don't know how you say her name. I can't remember. Tanya, Ryan, and... I also do not remember the name of the guy that they're surveilling. Okay, so Tanya is very focused, very methodical. She wants things to be correct. And she follows procedure. So I'm going to say that Tanya would be an Enneagram 1, the perfectionist. That's who I think for her. And let's see, Ryan. Ryan's much more free-spirited. I mean, 4s are creative, and he plays the piano and he does all the creative things, and that would kind of explain why he just doesn't want anything to do with Christmas at all, because he's moody and melancholy, and 4 feels right for him. I may not be, obviously these are all just guesses anyway. So I'm going to say a 4 for him. The next door neighbor, I think that he is a 9. Or actually, no, a 2. 2s are helpers. And he just wants to bring everybody together. I'm going to say a 2 for him. And then the last one I'm going to do, because this feels very correct. The neighbor, Stanley, I feel like he is probably a 7. So, the enthusiast, I think. So, I made a guess. Wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Which character has the best name in the movie? Best name. I never remember anybody's names. The only name I remember, Finley. Finley? Finn? I guess the other guy. I don't know if that was the best. I don't know. Talbot sticks with me. So, I guess I don't really remember all the names. Who has the best name? I don't know. There were no names that stood out as just a great name, I guess. Although what were their names when they went undercover? It was Tasha and Rupert, right? So Rupert. We'll go with Rupert. Which character did you relate to the most, and why was this? I actually related to Stanley the most, which is why I'm pretty sure he's an Enneagram 7, because I'm an Enneagram 7. He felt so fun to me, and he was immediately introducing himself to the neighbors and talking to them, and he felt like somebody that sees the world the way that I do. So, just immediately like welcoming them to the neighborhood and talking to them, telling them all about everything, and just talking about, and she's obviously trying to get away and he's still talking, and so that felt very me. So that is definitely who I relate to the most. Did you think the ending was believable or too far-fetched? I loved the ending. I was so hoping that the person they were surveilling was not guilty, but I couldn't figure out any way that he wouldn't be guilty. So I had no idea how they were going to make him not be guilty by the end of the movie. I mean, I just thought they were going to be like, we're so sorry, we'll see you in 10 years or something crazy like that. But the fact that he was working on this other project, and then after they embarrassed him in front of all his neighbors, the fact that they fixed that, and that Tanya and Ryan got together, that actually ended up being a bonus. I did not need that for this movie to be good. I really, really did love the ending of this movie. It didn't seem far-fetched at all. It actually, the only thing that was weird would possibly be, that the tools that he had just happened to be exactly the other one. But also the fact that the person who kind of set him up could not possibly have known that he had all those tools. So that worked out in her favor even better. But the fact that they figured it out, I mean, it did not seem too far-fetched. As a matter of fact, I did have a little split second of, she seemed questionable, the Santa boss, when they first interviewed her. So that did not surprise me at all that she was involved. Would you have made different casting choices? Absolutely not. I mean, I actually wrote in my notes that the casting choices were spot on perfect. I wrote A+++++. The casting people of this of this movie need to be applauded considerably. All of the casting felt so real, so spot on, and like I said before, I just loved the Captain and Talbot together. I just the casting was perfect. I would not have changed a single thing on that. I mean, even down to the guy they were surveilling, and I mean his demeanor and personality, and then the guy that was helping him. They just all worked so well. So no, would not have changed a thing. And now for our last question. Have any of your personal views changed because of this movie? And if so, how? I wouldn't say that any of my personal views have changed really, except, I wonder how much detectives actually can stake out in that way. But I don't think this movie challenged any of my viewpoints or anything like that. I mean, I had no problem with this guy being reformed for 15 years and having a new project. All of that seemed good. The one thing I will say, I guess, as a result of this is I am actually intrigued. Like, I love the idea of the Christmas, what is it called? The Christmas Club, or the Christmas, what do they call it? The Christmas Committee? Whatever they called it. And the fact that the neighborhood worked together to make it a great Christmas. I really did love that idea. So I guess that's something that my perspective changed a little bit, because I could see working with my neighbors on that. So I guess it changed there. So that's pretty right. And I just have a few more notes of things that I took notes on during the movie, that I just want to hit on real quick. So at the beginning of the movie, Tanya says that she's going to meet her sister. And I immediately think, I didn't realize this was a twin movie. I expected the sister for her to meet to be Tia. So it's still interesting to see them in their own movies. I mean, I can tell them apart, no problem. But I still kind of expect them to be together. If they're talking about their sister, that's who I expected. So I thought that was interesting. Again, the Captain Talbot, hilarious. I had a few quotes that I definitely wanted to share, even though it wasn't in the questions. But I had two quotes, actually. All right, the first is, let's see. This is after Detective Ryan put his stuff in the master bedroom, and Tanya says, "I moved your stuff out of the master bedroom." And this is the response. "That was me calling the master suite. Don't you know the rules of I called it?" Hilarious. And then the other quote was, let's see. She asked him, "Were you raised by wolves?" And he replies, "Were you raised by elves?" So, those are my favorite quotes from the movie. I just loved this movie so much. I can't wait to show it to other people. It's just a fantastic entry for the 2021 lineup. Fantastic entry. See you next time. Merry Christmas.